Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Turnabout Table Talks, a series of interviews and roundtable discussions featuring the cast and crew of the whole Turnabout musical universe. Today, it's Abby and Lizzie. Woo! Why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
I'm Abby. I am part of the Urnsmashers, so the musical team behind TAAAM, and then also the one of the co-writers of Turnabout Big TBTAAAM. That's me.
I'm Lizzie. If you couldn't tell, we labeled ourselves to make it easier. Um, I'm also one of the Urnsmashers, who worked on TAM. And then I'm also one of the co-writers for TBTAAAM. I did more music, and then Abby did music and script.
Fantastic. So we've got some great questions from the community and from our usual stock of questions. So let's get going. First up, what was your history with Ace Attorney and or Turnabout Musical before you joined the Maya Fey Protection Squad and became a part of the community as a whole?
Yeah, for me, I think I got into Ace Attorney around 2016. Like probably like earlier in 2016. And then that same year the TM Live came out 2016 too, right? Yeah.
Hmm.
So I think I was in it a little before that because I remember being excited that TM Live came out and I could kind of see the whole thing. Um so yeah, I was into that just kind of casually for a while until 2020, I saw the demos that Max and Joel had put out of a couple of sort of concept songs for what would become TAM. And I keep saying this is like a very uncharacteristic move for me. I messaged the PWMP Facebook page and was just like, hey, if people are working on this, I have some ideas. I'd like to work on this. And I believe Max, I assume it was you, responded of,
Yes.
oh, that's great. Max has has something to share with you. And then you messaged me privately as Max. And since you guys were working on stuff, you shared it with me, as kind of just like what give us your thoughts. And I I took that. I said, it's great. I love it. Here's 20 pages of notes.
Yes.
Which was it wasn't just notes about what you did. Most of my notes about what you did was like, I love this. This is so cool. I also like, since I had those ideas, I shared them in that doc of just like, here are things I was thinking. I'm not going to do this on my own. So if you want to have them, you can have them. Flash forward like a year and a half, I get a message from Max saying, hey, remember one of those ideas of lyrics you wrote, which was what became What He Deserves. Ari wrote an entire song with it. And so that's what ended up getting me into the Discord where we did a lot of the development and eventually being very involved with the team in terms of music and some script stuff and just generally getting in the sandbox and playing around. And then another half a year later, we started working on a clown show. Yeah, that's my story.
I got Ace Attorney on the Switch in December of 2020 on December 28th. I didn't plan
Wow.
that. It just occurred. That's when
Wow.
I bought it. It was on sale because it was Christmas, and I was like, all right. Um,
The opposite of almost Christmas.
yeah,
It was just
just
Christmas.
Christmas. That's when I got Ace Attorney, and then I was like looking at it. I had seen, actually, you know what? I had seen The Truth Reborn a lot, like many years prior to that. Whenever it was first uploaded onto YouTube
Mhm.
with subtitles, I like saw it like within a few months.
Did you like it without being
I did.
okay?
I'll
Excellent.
die on that hill. I know it's contentious.
The
I
first of
know it's
many
kind
hills
of
to die
like,
on.
Lizzie has a lot of hills.
this is true. Um, I'll die on this hill. I think it's a great show. I understand why people don't like it. I think it's a great show. And so that was my first experience with Ace Attorney. And then December 28th, 2020 is when I was like, I remember this from The Truth Reborn, the hit musical that I love, The Truth Reborn. I'm gonna buy this trilogy on the Switch and play it. And then I played it and I was like, I love that. I should relook up The Truth Reborn. And I didn't remember it was called The Truth Reborn. So I just looked up Ace Attorney Musical. And that's how I found TM Live, which came out in 2016. And I was like, that's not The Truth Reborn. But I did watch it. I watched all of it. And then I was like, I love this. I love this so much. And I couldn't find sheet music. And I didn't know there was a production package because I was not at the point where I was like active on Discord. I used Discord, but like I didn't join servers. I joined like my family had like a server that I was in. And my friend group had a server, but I didn't like I was very stranger danger, like don't just join random Discord servers.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had no idea that that existed. And so I just started transcribing sheet music by myself and then posting it on a Muse score. And then I was discovered. I was scouted.
You've got just the thing we're looking for.
I don't know. Someone found your Muse score transcriptions in the server and was like, "Oh my gosh, someone's making transcriptions of Turnabout Musical music," because it wasn't a thing.
Yeah. So, well, first I got a notification on MuseScore that somebody named S.A. Shope favorited one of my scores. And I was like, there's no way. There's no way.
It's
And there
the
was a
Sarah
way.
Shope.
It was the Sarah Shope. It like really, I was like, oh my God, what's happening? And then like a couple days later, I got a direct message from someone named Bob7 on MuseScore.
Sounds like a real nerd.
Also had
Sounds like
just
a really
created
cool
an
guy.
account
Yeah.
just to talk to you.
Aw, that's so sweet.
I got a direct message that was like, hey, this is Max from the Turnabout Musical Discord server. You should join and share stuff there. And I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Turnabout Musical Discord server was the first like public Discord server that I ever joined. And I was like freaking out. I was like, I don't know. I don't know how to talk to people. And that was on September 2nd, 2021. And then 4 days later, on September 6th, I got a direct message on Discord from Max that was like, can you keep a secret? It was inviting me to this project called Turnabout an Ace Attorney Musical. And it was like, if you decide not to join, don't tell people about this. But I was like, I would love to join. Please, please. And so that's how I got into TAAAM. And then yeah, half a year later, we started writing the clown show.
Before we get into the details of the clown show, you spent a lot of time working with the rest of the Maya Fey Protection Squad, especially the other Urnsmashers. Like we mentioned Ari, Sarah Shope before, also our friend Kate and Diana, and then, myself and Joel and Liv. I don't know if people know yet that we've recorded an entire Urnsmasher music commentary by this point, as of time of recording. So obviously you have a lot. You've already spoken a lot about this
Y'all are in
in the
for it.
past now or
I don't know if you're in for a
future.
treat, but
I don't know
you're in for
when
it.
this is going to come out, but are there any just first things that come to your head, highlights from your time working on TAAAM?
We did go into this a little bit in the long commentary, but I think first and foremost is like the people. Like I met a lot of my best friends and met my partner and like so yes. My Fey Protection Squad's great. And then also once we cast TAAAM, all the people in there are so fun and cool. So that's my number one. And then also it was a really great opportunity to learn how to do some of this stuff. So I had been like a band kid in high school, but I never tried composing pretty much anything until I joined up, and then started with some just like playing around with what was already done. And then by the end, I was writing my own music. And that's been like a huge joy in my life. And it is now. So, and it wouldn't have been possible if I hadn't started where I did in the project. And the sort of openness of letting me play around in the space was really cool. So those are mine. Lizzie. Ditto. All right.
Same. But yeah, a lot of the same stuff, just a lot of the people. I met a lot of really cool people through the project, a lot of the Maya Fey Protection Squad. We worked very closely together for like months and months and months.
Hmm.
There was just constant conversation. There was like 8 of us.
8 of us, yeah.
Yes.
And we talked about everything.
Everything every day. There were like at
Yes.
least 2 conversations per day.
Yes.
It was a lot. Not a lot of like, oh my gosh, that was a lot, but it was like a lot of like working very closely with people. And you bond with people when that happens. So I met a lot of really cool people. And then yeah, when we cast, we got really lucky with our cast. They were very, very cool people. You should check out their stuff. They're all super talented and we love them and we support them beyond their projects with TAAAM because they're very cool.
And also the people outside TAAAM too. Everyone in the Turnabout Musical sphere are very
Yes.
cool.
Yeah, absolutely. Mhm.
Yeah. And then I met my partner. So that was cool. Yeah, and then just I don't know. I really like working with music, but I really like working with sheet music, which is a process called engraving. And so it was very fun to get to be really, really neurotypical about that in like a free space where I could just go crazy.
Mhm. Fantastic. Well, we have our first of our community questions from Zach Stafford 8472, who asks, Mo the Clown. Understandable. Next question from Chaos Incorporated 9493. Out of all things to turn into a musical, why Turnabout Big Top specifically? What was going on there?
Lizzie, would you like to start with this?
So this
Wipes
remains a
tear from the
topic.
eye.
This remains a topic of conversation like to this day in the fan server. We just recently had a conversation about this because Max posted his updated tier list and I made a little playful jab that was like, oh, I see 2-3's not in the top tier. What's going on with that?
Hey, I put it in like good, right? I think I put it at the very top of good. That's high
Hmm.
praise for me, I
Hmm.
promise.
Hmm.
And my little comment sparked a whole thing of like people being like, well, it's not good. And I'm like, we're still having this conversation, even after we've definitively proven that it's the best case. I have a deep love of 2-3. I really enjoy it. I liked it when I first played it. I know that there's problems with the case.
No, no air quotes. There are problems.
With the case. But I really love it. I really love the aesthetic. I really love the characters. I think they're very silly, goofy. I just think it's really zany in like a real Shu Takumi kind of way. I know it's Shu Takumi's favorite case. And I understand why. It's just very silly and like it's not grounded in the way that a lot of other Ace Attorney cases are. Because most Ace Attorney cases are zany and silly, but Turnabout Big Top is just like really out in its own sphere of
It's like the difference
existence.
between a grounded case with weird characters versus everything is weird.
Yeah, there's just nothing normal happening. I really loved Phoenix being the most normal character there and just like losing his mind and being like, I don't understand what's going on. And so then it became a thing, like, you join an Ace Attorney, like a server dedicated to talking about an Ace Attorney related project. People talk about the franchise, and anytime 2-3 comes up, they're like, gosh, that case sucks. Worst case. I can't believe it. It's the absolute worst thing in the world. And I'm like, that is so harsh to the best game.
It is extremely reductive.
I became a bit of it became a bit of a bit for me to be like, you don't get it.
Mhm.
You wouldn't understand her like I understand her. So things just sort of spiraled. I think at one point, I was like, 2-3 is the best case. You're all haters, and I'll write it myself if I have to.
And by it, you mean a musical.
a musical. I was like, this is great. It could be its own musical because it is just so amazing.
Hmm.
And it really stands on its own. It does stand on its own. You don't need to play the rest of anything to be able to play Big Top just because of how the way that it is. So yeah, things kind of spiraled out of control. And now we have a musical that's like 90 minutes, 100 minutes.
Yeah, so I remember the way I remember it starting in terms of like when we started writing was they were once again there was like every once in a while someone makes a joke of like what if they made a Big Top musical? So I did collect all those. I have a little folder of foreshadowing of just every time someone joked about it. And at one point, Bryn, who did Turnabout Musical live at the Phoenix Theater and Turnabout Samurai, he said something about like I know if we did it I would want to play Mo, and so I was like, Bryn, listen, we would love
We'll do anything.
we'll do anything. So I was like, and I think I said like slash J, like I was joking, and then Lizzie came in, she's like, no joking, no half joking, I will write it myself if I have to. Oh no, you know what, Bryn said he would play every character, right?
I think so.
No, I don't remember.
We'll find it.
We'll find it. You can put it on the screen. Anyway, so then it devolved from there. It spiraled out of control. You can decide for yourself. Yeah, I think really it kind of spawned out of this was February of
Yeah.
2022. So like we had been in the thick of it doing TAAAM for a very long time. And we were like getting tired. We've done a lot of work in the couple of months leading up to
An
it.
extraordinary amount of work in an extraordinary short period of time.
Yeah. And it was stressful sometimes. So this was our like, this can't be stressful. This is the clown show. How could we take this too seriously? And then later we proceeded to take it too seriously. But in
ended
the
up being a little stressful,
a little
but it was
bit.
my fault.
No. We'll get there, I guess. So yeah, it started as our like fun side project. So kind of half born out of spite and then half as a prank. We are like, what if we did this whole thing? So that's why TBTAAAM.
The next question from Alma, how long did composing these songs take, and what program did you use? How many instruments were used? Specifically about Turnabout Big Top. So,
Mm.
you mentioned that you started thinking about it February 22. The show didn't come out until July 2024. So, what was the timeline like there?
Well, you'll have to keep in mind there's a whole production in the middle.
That's true. We did, in fact, finish Tam first.
Yes.
Yeah, we went on a little creative hiatus. We put away the clown noses for a few months because Ari and Diana, who do notification, they were like, we would like to do a digital production of Tam. And so we were like, okay, we need to be, all hands on deck. We have to finish all of the stuff that we're gonna need to do this. We have to finish all the audition materials, which if you watch the commentaries that we did about TAAAM, you will know that that was a bit of a rush to the finish line.
Mhm.
And so there was a big period from like June of 2022 to March of 2023 that was just getting TAAAM out the door. That period of time, we didn't do any work on clown show, I don't think. Maybe like a
Probably not.
little
Yeah.
bit here and there, but like we pretty much kind of put it away.
Yeah. So the first couple of months, I think we wrote like 3 of the songs, 4-ish,
Mhm.
because Lizzie's first one was Acrobat's Waltz, I believe, and that was pretty quick. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. I don't know. I don't know how long it actually took you. You just showed up with it one day.
I have it here.
And I kind of did simultaneously Everyone's a Star 1 and 2, kind of went back and forth on that. You also knocked out Max's song pretty quickly.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, I think I wrote that in like 2 days. I was like, I have it. It's here. It's not what we originally thought it was going to be.
What do we
Because
think
we
it was gonna be?
originally conceived of it to be like a country music
Yeah.
love song. That's not what I wrote. If you listen to it.
Well, we said Hannah Montana was
We settled on Hannah Montana, but like the original conception of like Max should have a love song and it should be like a like a sweet little country boy ballad.
And it didn't really turn into a love song either.
No, it's just a romantic love song.
Kate described it as Max Galactica loves the spotlight and Regina sometimes. So you did that. I think I started, we have all the demo dates I should have looked at, but I might
Yeah,
have started Mo Solo then.
there
All of
were
this
ideas
happened.
around then.
Yeah. All this happened before Fight Like a Fae was written. You'll hear more about that in the commentary. But yeah, so those couple of months we, started working through maybe 4 songs and then scattered throughout. I think I did like the underscores and stuff. And then we came down to Finale and Hat Cloak and White Roses, which were both a battle.
Yeah. So earlier I said it ended up being stressful, but it was my fault. I was like, I want to write these songs. I want to do it. And then I was like, I can't do it, but I want to do it. So I guess we're stuck here now.
But you did it,
I
and you
did
did
do
such
it.
a good job.
White Roses. There were a couple times where I like called you in the middle of the night, not in the middle of the night. You go to sleep like a normal person. But like at like 9 p.m. and I would just be like crying. And you're like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I can't write music. I can't do it.
I told you it didn't have to be jazz.
Yes, it does.
We made some of these problems for ourselves.
You
It would
did.
take a lot less time if we were.
Yeah. It wouldn't have been stressful if we were normal, which we're not. So, but that's okay because it came out. We wrote all the songs, and also we didn't have a deadline. That was the
Yes.
thing. It
Yes.
wasn't like we were on a deadline and I was just like not meeting deadlines. It was like the show will be done when it's done. I was just like, but if I don't write it tonight, then the world will explode.
As you know. Yeah. So in total, there's a gap in between, I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 months that were really.
Yeah, we wrote a lot of music in the first couple months, and then after TAAAM came out, it was mostly scripting. And
Mhm.
then I wrote the last 2 songs like at the very end
Right.
of the line.
But yeah, this is also neither of our day job. You'll be shocked to learn that neither of us are employed to write clown musicals. So this is definitely like our hobby, and so that was like months in free time.
Yeah, also
World.
finals, homework, clubs.
I took my general exam during the TAAAM development.
That's crazy.
In that very busy month was also my general exam.
I know, that was crazy. I failed calculus during that time. It's not because of TAAAM.
I also failed my general exams. Not because of TAAAM either. We're better at musicals than we are.
We're human. We're very human.
Anyway,
I retook calc. I got an A-. It's okay.
I'm very proud. I retook my general exam and I passed. So
Congratulations, guys. So yeah, and that whole scripting time, because like when you were conceiving the show, you were also conceiving of like how are you going to adapt it into a one act stage musical? Like what changes would you make and how would you condense things or like the themes to focus on? And then just over time, Abby, you ended up writing all the scenes. And then I would come in and do some notes and then they would eventually it arrived at where we have it. And you guys used Muse Score to compose, both of y'all, right?
yep, we're the Muse Score folks.
Mhm.
Are there some interesting instruments that you got to use as part of a clown show repertoire?
I don't think so. I mean, there's this one piano sound font that's like old piano,
Honky tonk.
honky
Honky
tonk
tonk.
piano. I think I used it in Mo Solo. It's like the main thing in Acrobats Waltz.
Mhm.
That one's fun. Good circus vibes. Other than that, I think it's pretty normal.
There's some Calliope in there.
Calliope,
There's
yes.
a whole
The-
Max, you were there for this Calliope sound font saga where I was like, I'm gonna put my credit card information in this really sketchy
I
website.
do remember this. Yes.
I don't like MuseScore's Calliope sound font. I don't like how it sounds. It is the one we ended up using. I don't like the way that it sounds. I found a better Calliope sound font from a very sketchy website, but like a legit website. I looked up a bunch of places like where to get a good Calliope sound font, and a lot of people were like this website. don't mind how it looks. So I put in my credit card information and I bought the sound font. It was not compatible with MuseScore, but it's probably compatible with other programs, and I do want to learn other programs, so I'm keeping it in my back pocket for any other clown related projects.
Like the next clown show we write.
Exactly.
Turnabout Big Top 2.
Electric Boogaloo.
2 Turnabout 2 Big Tops.
But the amount of
Big Top.
instruments was significantly less than TAAAM. Would you say that's
Yes.
accurate?
Well,
Yeah.
Mo solo.
Most solo, I don't feel like there's not a lot play at once, usually.
Right.
It's just it kind of shifts genres. So you have like a marching band setup and then more of a jazz band setup and then a electric guitar solo.
Yeah.
So I think it's like a mostly normal amount, but you need to pare it down a little bit probably if you're doing a bit.
All right, next question. A couple actually, which I think go together. Avery Tube Studios asks, how do you choose what parts of a case to turn into a song? So why did you choose what you did? And Sass Master Mickey, our great friend and TAAAM and TBTAAAM cast member, asks, with so much lore that could potentially be covered across the Ace Attorney universe, how do you decide on the most important aspects to include when adapting parts of it into a musical?
Well, the most important aspects are the ones that have clowns in them.
Yes. Unfortunately, we did not get Max's milk.
We didn't.
Turnabout Big Top is bad actually because it doesn't have Max's milk in it.
It's got far-reaching lore. The milk crate that they
Oh, the milk crate shows up.
That's
Yeah.
the crate that Bikini stands on.
Wow.
In Bridge to the Turnabout, yeah. See, it's all connected.
It's important. You can't get rid of Big Top.
Yeah.
You won't understand the rest of the story without it.
So I think we knew one of our sort of the big ideas of how we wanted Big Top to look was that it would kind of be like every character gets a song, like it's kind of their act in the circus. Is sort of the vibe. So we knew each character got a song and was just figuring out where each song went and what it could be doing. Pretty early on, we had Max's love song. So it's just like that's going somewhere. We just needed to figure out where.
We knew Mo Solo would exist.
We knew Mo Solo exists. So the original concept for Mo Solo was it was still going to be kind of a exposition song, but I think a very, very early concept was every circus character is played by the same person. And then that got pared down to Mo Solo being Mo was going to have outfits for every person that he was going to change into, which I still like. I went into too much detail in the script of like how this could be staged, of like there would be props that he could use. But in the original conception of the script, they would go to Acro's room first, grab a bunch of props, bring it to Mo, who would then use them as his like hats of each character. Most of them, I think we just had a concept of a song for the character. It's kind of the same thing for Regina. We knew we wanted to do kind of the double meaning of everyone's a star. So that kind of had to go at the beginning. And then we had Ben and Trillo left, and so they get the testimony song, I guess.
And we all decided very early on that Phoenix Wright would
not sing in this Phoenix Wright musical.
No.
And we broke our promise, but
we did, but just for one line.
Just for one
and it
line.
was thematic and important. You need to analyze it.
Yeah. Write an essay.
Please write us an essay.
100 words.
Please analyze Turnabout Big Top. We put so much thought into it. And to that same point, Acro doesn't sing either.
Yeah, so we had an intentionality around who does and doesn't sing, which kind of the idea was it's people in the circus. It's kind of the fantasy world of the circus is the singing. So none of the lawyers sing, and the judge doesn't sing except for the one line. And Acro doesn't sing as part of his testimony because he is sort of disillusioned with the fantasy world and grounded in that moment of so Regina is sort of rejecting reality in her song about death, and he's not rejecting reality. He's kind of getting lost in it. So in terms of songs, we knew that the lawyers wouldn't sing. In the script, there's a few lines that get lost in the audio drama, but the idea is like Acro opens his mouth to sing and doesn't sing. Francisca at the end, when Nick and Maya have their little duet, she kind of has a moment to sing and she storms off instead. So we kind of knew who needed to sing, and then we kind of worked backwards from there, I guess.
Yeah, there were certain characters I felt very strongly that like should not sing. Like I remember I was like, I have this idea where like Acro has a song and it's just dialogue the whole time. He never actually sings any part of it. And we ended up, I remember we talked, we were like, should Franziska sing? And if so, where? And we kind of threw around a couple ideas about her like singing during Ben and Trillo's song as sort of like she's like getting
Playing
into
along.
she's playing along with the
She's playing along
fantasy
in the
Yeah.
fantasy world
to try
to
and
get
like
the outcome that she wants.
get the
Exactly.
outcome that she wants, but we ended up
How can you
not
prove he wasn't flying?
And I actually originally, when I first wrote Hat Cloak White Roses, there was a little part where I was like, Franziska could sing this part.
Mhm.
We didn't end up doing that. Because it just didn't, I don't know. I was also at a point where I was like, I couldn't think of like a good thing to write there essentially. I think I like gave you an idea of a melody line, and I think the note that I wrote above it was I hate this.
Yeah, I think part of our thing is like if we're gonna do it, we want to do it well. And so
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
wasn't working, so we didn't do it.
It was also like our only options for Franziska were like give her this moment where she's like playing along with the circus, or like give her her own song, but because we also talked about like who should the prosecutor even be? Like,
Yeah.
should it even be Franziska? Should it be a different person? We ended up settling on Franziska just because she's going to expect, but we were like, she has a character arc in this game, but it doesn't
Doesn't happen
it
here.
doesn't happen here.
Or at least it's not
Yeah.
it's not
It
the
doesn't
start, it's not
directly
the
impact the
end.
outcome
Yeah.
of this mystery.
You would have to set up her character arc. If you want it to be a standalone musical, you would have to set up and like conclude her character arc in the show. And a lot of her character arc has to do with Edgeworth, and he's not here. You need to know who Edgeworth is. He's gone. He needs to come back. There's a whole lot of stuff that needs to happen for her character arc to happen that just simply had no place in the circus.
Well, that's another early line I remember you saying. You're like, I'm lining up all the lawyers and telling them very strictly, you better not learn a gosh darn thing about from this.
Yeah.
It's like you're not gonna grow. You're not gonna
Yeah.
learn.
The lawyers are not the point of this musical. I know people play Ace Attorney because they love the lawyers. They're wrong.
No, they're not wrong.
No.
You're gonna make some enemies.
I'm just saying stuff. If I think it's funny, I'll say it. But no, we were like, this show, it's not built like character development happens, like they have the whole conversation outside the lodgings with Franziska about like, you know, Edgeworth, and like that's when Phoenix tells Maya that he's dead because he's a drama queen. And we were like, it doesn't, we either have to like really go into it or we'd have to not go into it at all. We can't just like half do her arc and half do Phoenix's arc with Edgeworth. And so we were like, we really want to, well, I was like, I want to focus on the circus people. I want the circus people to be the stars of the show.
Like, Lizzie, I want you to be happy.
And honestly, like all of those storylines with Phoenix and Edgeworth and Franziska is stuff that would be better served in a show that was actually like adapting Farewell My Turnabout, right?
Yeah.
And so it's
Yes.
like we don't want to step on anyone's toes for whatever that may be in future.
Yes.
I think Dom described it, and I really liked it. I feel like this was kind of the vibe we were going for. It was kind of like a Sherlock Holmes or a Poirot or something where our protagonists are kind of more observers of these other characters. They take us through the story, but they're not the ones that are going through the arcs in this particular one.
And that's what a lot of Ace Attorney cases are at the end of the day, besides the
I think
ones that sort of
especially-
anchor games.
Yeah, I think like that's why people aren't as big a fan of like the case threes, is because they are more of these episodic Sherlock Holmes-y cases, whereas other cases kind of tie into our main characters.
But yeah, we really wanted to let Big Top shine for just the story of Big Top. I think a lot of people are like, the Franziska stuff is what makes this case worthwhile. And I was like, well, then let's take the bad parts of the case and make it good. Like this is a fun story about this like horrible tragedy that befalls these circus
a fun
people.
story.
It's a fun story about this
So fun.
horrible tragedy. And so that's what most state's attorney cases are.
Mhm.
And so I was like, we can fix her. We can make it better. I wanted to really let like Regina and Max and Acro like really be the point of the show.
Yeah, I think you did a great job. And like even going so far as to, for example, like there's no pepper, there's no scarf, there's a music box instead, like something musical for the stage. Like there's you put a lot of really careful thought into how to adapt the story and what to include and what not to make it sort of the best point that it could possibly be and give Regina so much like I mean, it's kind of cliche to say give her agency, but like giving her agency, right? Like the
She's
Regina
22.
Berry Defense League is what we almost were, right?
Yeah, I think this one was really fun because unlike Tam is such like a big overarching, there's DL6, but then there's the murder, there's like three different mysteries to unpack and like weave through and a lot of character stuff all in there. This one was a little more straightforward in terms of the mystery. So we could kind of work backwards from, okay, we know he gets killed with a bust. So we need to set up the bust. We know the bust gets there because it's shiny. So we need to set up that it's shiny and then there's a monkey. And we could just outline the parts that we really needed to then solve it and then just sprinkle them throughout all the scenes and then have a
Mhm.
dream ballet that reminds you where they all are.
Phoenix Thinking, big hit.
People love it.
My most popular song, according to that one Tumblr poll.
They love it, and they should.
People love a funky little ostinato.
They do.
The concept of the song is hilarious too. You have Phoenix just center stage, just like the dopiest man you've ever seen, and the rest of the cast circling him, being like, "Put these things
Remember?
together."
Think,
You remember?
think.
I think in the script at some point you had like at this point there's like a mind palace sequence. I don't know. I'll figure it out later.
Thank you for coming to my dream ballet.
And
Yeah,
another thing that I would love to see on stage, the Dream Ballet in
mhm.
Acrobats Waltz.
Oh,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. I had big
You had big aspirations.
I had big thoughts about how that would go. I had a lot of control over. Dave gave us a lot of different takes, and I just sat there and I picked them apart and I put them exactly where I wanted. And I was just scooching them around exactly where I wanted them in the
Yeah.
music because I was like, I know what I want this to be. Know
He was
where I
such a
want.
good sport too.
He was so great.
We asked him for like several, and then we're like, "Can you do these lines again, but think like a little madder?" And then this one's kind of sad. We had like
That's
so many
called
notes. He's like,
direction.
you got it, guys."
Dave is so great.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Big Top cast,
Oh my
which
gosh. Oh,
we
pitch perfect.
Mm.
when we were about ready to start asking people, Ren and MJ and Eric all agreed early on just to say like, yeah, we'll do it. We'll come back and be
Amazing.
Phoenix and Maya and the judge. And then there were a few other roles that you guys had already cast because you wanted to to see them, like Kate is Max, me is Mo, uh, Joel is
Russell,
Russell.
yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then Liv is Meekins, is that right? It was
No, I
or
think
did
we
Liv audition?
auditioned. Yeah, we auditioned, but then
But
yeah, so
yeah,
we did sort of closed auditions of the TAM cast because we're like, we can't handle open auditions. We can't just
Yeah.
well, first of all, it
because
was
it
a
was a
secret.
secret.
It was a top secret. We didn't tell anybody. We didn't even tell we didn't tell the rest of the Maya Fey Protection Squad until we were about ready. We were like, we want your blessing to use the Ace Attorney musical subtitle.
Hmm.
And they were like, we hadn't told them until then. And then yeah, we didn't tell the TAM cast until we were like, okay, we want to cast this.
We pulled Max in. This is like my favorite story. We were in a Discord call with just like a bunch of TAM people, and it was so late at night.
It was like midnight when this
Oh my
started. It was
God.
midnight
Yeah.
when this started. I
It was
remember.
it was midnight, and we were talking about the conversation shifted to like different Ace Attorney cases you could adapt to like a stage play or like a musical. And Koala and Ruth and Max started talking about Big Top, and we were like, no,
No.
stop. You can't have it. It's ours. And so Abby
And we
I
were
in this
saying stuff
call.
that was lining up to what you were already
That was,
doing.
we started
Yeah.
panicking.
Yeah, we were like, oh my God, they're gonna write this show before we do. We put too much into this already. We can't let it happen.
You in particular, Max, you were
Yeah.
the one that was like,
Oh
you
yeah,
said
Mo Solo. Yeah,
the
you know,
words Mo Solo, and we're
you
like,
can
we
cut
have
out this
to
character, you
fix
can make it
this.
a one-act show, you can do
Yeah.
all these things, and
We
you're
have to
like,
stop him.
So we
I got too close to the truth.
went into our clown car, and because Kate and Ari were not in this call, and we were like, can we tell him? Can we tell him? To get him to stop. We have to bring him over to our side. That's the only way we can stop him.
If you can't beat him,
So-
join make
Yeah.
him join you.
And so Ari was like, yeah, you're fine, but I'm going to sleep. We were like, that's valid.
So real. That's so real.
And Kate was like, yeah, okay, that's fine. And so we were like,
We made the clown car too.
yeah, we DM'd Max and we were like, Max, you need to get off this call and you need to make it sound
Make-
natural.
Make an
Yeah, make it
excuse
sound
you need to leave.
natural. Don't
Yeah.
say anything. I was like, well, you know, it's late. I'm gonna go to bed. And you guys were like, yeah, we're gonna go to bed too. And you made a group chat, which at first was titled "The Urnsmashers Require Max's Attention." And I'm like, what the heck is happening?
So we got on a call. It's like 12:30 at night at this point. We get on a call and we're like, Max, we have something to show you.
And we had some demos. We had, I
Yeah.
think
You
we
already had
had
Everyone's a Star. You already had Max's song.
Mhm.
You already had Acrobat's Waltz.
Yeah.
And I was
so
like, hell yeah.
and then we stayed on call until 5 in the morning.
Until 5 in the morning, talking about like Beyblade and Duel Masters or something. I don't even remember anymore.
the group chat icon is still
It's Moses'
Moses with the
Beyblade.
Beyblade, yeah. Mhm.
Starting to see. I got my copy of Duel Masters.
It's
Oh
important
yes,
for your character
that
arc.
night I promised to get Lizzie a copy of Duel Masters. The one that we wanted was a Spanish VHS copy of Frankly Shobu I Don't Give a Duel.
Yes.
Unfortunately, it was lost in transit, so I ended up getting you a DVD of what did we get? Show Me the Mana.
It's the same one, frankly, Shobu, I don't give a
Oh,
deal, but
it is the
it's
same
on
one.
DVD and it's in English, unfortunately.
Shame.
Can you tell we like traditionally thought of as bad media?
I can fix her.
Coming soon, a Duel Masters musical.
No,
Stanton and Lawrence production.
no. Maybe.
I
Don't wait till I'm
supported
for
you.
it.
I supported you on the project you wanted to do.
That's true. You get to pick the next one.
Okay. That's not true. I know what the next one is, and you picked it.
I didn't pick it. Did I pick it?
Yes.
Who came up with the idea of making it into a musical?
I don't know.
You'll find out one day.
One day.
Yeah, check in
One
with us
day.
in like 2 years.
Yeah. Max knows what it is,
I do.
but you don't.
Hee Our next question is from the True Turtle Girl. Was there any part of the writing you found tougher than the rest? Additionally, is there anything you've ever thought about changing in the writing of TAAAM or Big Top if you were able to now?
We already said that Hot Cloak White Roses took years off of Lizzie's
I
life.
cried a couple times.
God, it's so good.
It's is incredible.
It's all right. The lyrics are good.
The music is good. Script writing's hard. Just like making myself do it. It is much easier when you're like adapting something because I could just pull up the transcript of any scenes that were relevant and just pull out whole lines, or at least use it to guide what the the structure of the scene. But yeah, writing in general, you just kind of have to like make yourself do it. And it's through, I mean, we talked about this in the other commentary, but it is like one of the motivating factors is just like I want to share this with people. So there were some nights where I was just like, I'm just gonna do this scene so that people can see the scene. There's quite a few moments in the show that are written the way they are because I wrote them and I said, I can't figure this out. I'm just gonna put a placeholder and I'll figure it out later. I'll change it later. And then I never did. So Mo emerging from the wardrobe was just like, I don't know how to get him
No,
here.
but that's the best part.
So funny though. Especially when he goes, no, of course not. That's so funny.
It's Max's delivery too.
No, of course not.
I have a very hard time with scene transitions. You'll notice like every scene in Turnabout Big Top is Maya just dragging Phoenix off of like, okay, time for the next scene, buddy. I mean, for TAAAM, it was definitely just a lot of the like development and figuring out how the pieces went together, and
Yeah.
that was a much bigger to do in terms of like organizing everything. Like I said, TBTAAAM was a much more like straightforward story and stuff, so at least that wasn't stressful, or
Mhm.
we knew basically like what we wanted to happen. It was just a matter of making it happen.
Mhm.
Yeah. And also with Big Top, like you guys have ownership over the whole thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Whereas Turnabout Musical and TAAAM is such a collaborative thing involving so many other voices.
Yeah, so there's definitely like pros and cons there of like TAM was so cool because it was building off of this huge legacy of all these people that worked on it and also the game and then collaborating with so many cool people. Um yeah, just being able to like build off of each other's ideas and work through all that stuff was really cool. Working on Tibetan was very cool because we really like we made a decision and that's what we did. And if I wanted something written that way, I was just like, it's written that way. Like there's some suggestions you made that I was like, no, I
No,
just reject.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, which is also it can, it can be nice too, to be a little bit of a control freak.
Hat Cloak White Roses was tougher than the other songs.
What
I
about
mostly did music. I didn't really do script as much. There were I was in a lot of the earlier conversations where I was like, these are the vibes that I want. These are the themes that I want to be explored. These are the things about the characters that I find interesting that I want to go into more. The actual like process of sitting down and writing the words was Abby.
I said, yes, ma'am. I know that I feel like this is something we do a lot where you're just like, here's the vibes and here's the outline. I'm like, this is very helpful. I'm just gonna do it. Like this was flash.
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah.
Hat Cloak White Roses was hard. It took me a long time. It's hard. I feel like when you're listening to pop, there's a lot of like kind of trash pop. Like that's not that good. And so you listen to it and you're like, I could write that. I could write that. And then you write Max's song and you're like, this is okay. And but then like when you're listening to jazz, jazz is just so there's a lot of good jazz out there. It's hard to find bad jazz, I would say.
Yeah.
And so I'm like listening to these songs that I want to like be like the inspiration for what would become Hat Cloak White Roses. And I'm like, there's no way. There's no way I could write anything even akin to this. These are like written by like masters of their craft. And so I'm like,
We have to have a masterful track for our clown musical.
yes. And so it's like, it's one of those things where it's like Hat Cloak White Roses, people say that it's really good, but it's one of those difficult things where I know what was in my inspiration playlist and I know that it's not as good as what I wanted it to be in my head. So it is kind of hard to have people be like, well, it's still good. And I'm like, but you don't know what's in here.
Mhm.
This so whatever's in here is so much better, and you'll never hear it. So
I know that is such a thing that so many creative people can relate to. It's like I know
Mhm.
what I want it to be. Why can't I
Mhm.
Yeah,
why isn't it not coming out exactly as I want? Yeah.
yeah. So people do like it. The lyrics are also really good. Also, the patter section is really good. Ari wrote the
Ari
patter
wrote the
section.
patter section so
Oh,
early on.
yeah, that was like the first thing. Yeah.
And it's the funny part is it's like twice the tempo that she did it at.
Yes, so
Yep.
she is I saw the moment of
Of
the
the
murder.
murder.
Well,
Well,
I
I
I
sort
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 of
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 saw
saw
the
the
moment
moment
when
where
the
the
murder
murder
maybe
maybe
did
did
or
or
didn't
didn't
happen,
happen, but
but I
I think it did.
did. And then I was
yeah.
like, okay, let's take that. And I was like, what if it was I saw the moment of the murder? Well, I sort of saw the moment where the murder maybe did or didn't happen, but I think it did.
And then we did.
And then we did.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
Thank you, Jack.
I'm sorry.
This is so freaking hard. It's true.
They nailed it.
They did such a good job.
Mhm.
But again, just like the whole cast, incredible.
Yeah. Find talented people and don't let them go.
Yeah.
Be nice to them.
Be nice.
Be
Make
kind.
art for 30 sickos at a time. And if those 30 sickos also happen to become very good friends of yours, then you can work forever.
Mhm. Cherish them. Appreciate them.
Yeah, I'm so grateful. I think the most important thing about this has been we made something we wanted to make, and then we had this group of people around us who liked it. So when we
Mhm.
when we shared it, and it, like so many people from TAAAM got on board. I think we ended up with like, I don't know, like 25 or 30
Yeah.
of the original cast all are in there somewhere as like ensemble and
some
like
of
helped
them
with the
didn't.
production.
Yeah, some of them didn't do anything with the production. They just joined the server because they wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Like Dom ended up being in the crowd.
He
It's
said
true.
he
He
put
did a
in one voice
cameo.
I
line.
love him so much. But
It's
yeah,
so
he joined
good.
just to like be supportive. I love Dom.
That was so nice. But
Oh
yeah,
yeah,
and
Gumshoe's not in the show. Gumshoe's not in the show just because we didn't have. You just need
we
someone
talked,
to
Yeah.
serve as a police officer to prevent you from doing things, but you don't need him to learn anything else, right?
yeah, so we talked about doing like a full commentary musical. Musical. Oh God. They did that for
Commentary
Dr.
musical. What is this,
Horrible.
Dr. Horrible? Yeah.
Yes. Um, so yeah, a whole commentary video. So maybe I'll go into more of like how that came about. But long story short, Gumshoe only serves in that particular instance as sort of exposition and as giving some information about Francisca that we end up not really needing in that moment. So
Mhm.
did get the axe and I do feel bad. I should also say this is every I think most of the sort of major scripting and music decisions happened before we casted Tam. So a lot
That
of
is
things
true.
would have been much harder for like Phoenix doesn't sing. We have Ren.
That sucked so much. We cast Ren and he was so talented, and we were like, but maybe Phoenix could sing a little bit.
Someone needs to write a Francisca song so Ruth can sing it. Ruth has
Yes.
an amazing voice and we like haven't showcased it at all.
Except for Toot Toot Chugga Chugga Big Red Car.
Yeah, so it's a perfect
Yes.
example. Go to the bloopers and
To
find
do it.
Toot Toot Chugga
And
Chugga.
then tell her that she's good.
Yes,
Comment.
comment on that video
Comment.
that
This
Ruth
Franziska
is
actress is a
amazing.
great singer.
Mhm.
Yes.
Comment it. Make her confront it.
She's living in denial and she needs to face reality. She is the Regina Barry of this cast. I know she doesn't play Regina Barry, but
And
She is so
also
talented.
doing all that work on the sound mixing with Nav.
the amount of work and the amount they put up with from me,
And me.
they're incredible. They mixed all the songs, they did all the dialogue and everything, and that's
Also,
a huge
Julie
amount of
did
work.
did a
Julie,
mixing
oh
for
yeah,
some of the
yes.
parts together,
We
like
did the
the
timing for Acrobat's Waltz
And
Hat Cloak
and Hat Cloak Right Roses. Yeah.
which
yeah.
was like
Yeah, so
I'm
if you
so
wonder,
sorry.
yeah, if you wonder why the ensemble sounds so put together, first answer is Ari did all the guide tracks again.
Yes.
So again,
Yes.
like Ari sang every ensemble part and had people sing along to it so that they could be in time with that and in tune with that. And then this mixing team, like even with that, everybody's cutoffs are a little different. Everybody holds notes a little like everything's just a little off when you're singing at a distance. And so there's a lot of work that goes into just like shifting everybody a little bit, or like you can even like they can do
can
magic with
stretch
it. Yeah, they could, I don't know how they do it.
Not a whole lot, but like if it needs just a little nudge, they can stretch a little
Yeah.
bit without it starting to sound weird.
So like every track they did that, and then you put it all together and have to balance everything. So they did so much work. And then I would go like, well, we both did go through and be like, "Ah, there's like a click here. And if you turn up your headphones all the way, you can hear it."
Yeah. Just how meticulous you have to be for
Yeah.
quality check and for getting all the sound mixing in. Like it's it sucks and it takes so much time and you will drive yourself insane. But that's how you make something sound as good as Tam and Big Top do.
We don't deserve them.
We
No,
They
don't.
also have full-time jobs that are not audio mixing.
yeah.
Although if you ever want to commission them for an audio project,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Please commission them.
Yeah.
Please reach out
I don't
to
know if
them.
I don't know if they're open, but if they are,
That's true. Just reach out to them.
yeah.
Just tell them they did a good job.
Tell them they did a good job. Comment on this
Yes.
video. Tell them they
Yes.
did a good job.
Get in the comments.
Get in the comments right now.
Mhm.
Tell our friends they did a good job.
We're not gonna go on until you do it.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay. Question from
Oh,
Roof Dweller. What's another video game you think would make a great musical?
we were just talking about this and trying to come up with some unique one
I have an
because
answer.
okay.
Maybe this already exists. I don't know. Haven't looked into it a whole lot. Higurashi when they cry.
Oh, is that the one you're
Yeah,
okay?
it's a visual novel. Um,
It's like a murder
the murder
mystery time loop thing.
Yeah, yeah. I won't get into it too much because it's the mystery is the whole thing. But
Hmm.
I think that doing stuff with like it's like the perfect it would be a horror musical, which are fun, silly. It's a campy-ish show. The visual novel's a lot scarier than the show is. But the show's pretty campy. You could write a campy horror musical, and then it's like you can play so much with leitmotifs because it's very much like they're in this like town, rural Japan, and everything is chill, and it's like set up like this super chill, almost like dating simulator visual novel. Um, and then just Doki Toki Literature clubs its way. Just horror, just
Hmm.
absolute horror. And you could play so much with leitmotifs with like having all these fun upbeat tracks that just become really unhinged as the show goes on.
We do love a spooky
I
reprise.
think it'd be so much fun. You don't understand.
I mean, Ghost Trick, Apollo Justice, things that people are already doing because they're such good ideas.
Join those projects.
Join those projects.
They're open projects. Join them.
They're very
Yes.
cool. Yeah, I was
Uh-huh.
trying to think of something somebody hasn't done, and like video games I like. Um, I know everybody like I think everybody in these videos listed out their childhood Final Fantasy, and mine was Final Fantasy X. So,
Mm.
which has beautiful music already. So, and a pretty compelling story. So I like that one. For breakfast, I said Katamari Damacy,
Yes.
which would not be a good musical, but I was like, maybe you can do like a ballet. But then I was thinking games that would actually make a good ballet, Journey.
Hmm.
The one where you're like
Hmm.
flying around.
I haven't played Journey.
It's really pretty.
Should play Journey.
We should.
Are there
So
other
this
things that you think would make good musicals beyond video games? Because I know you two have some eclectic interests. Maybe things that you're not able to talk about yet, but maybe things you are thinking about.
I can fix Dragon Ball GT. I can fix her. I'm not going to, but I could.
I love you. But I don't know if I can go that far with you.
My favorite story was sending Abby a picture of Super Saiyan 4 Goku and her going, I don't understand how his shirt like works. And I was like, he's not wearing a shirt. And she just said, oh no.
I was like, Lizzie, is this a furry show? She's like, how did you know?
Of course it's a furry show.
There's a character named King Furry.
He's the king of the world and he's a Yorkshire Terrier.
I love King Furry.
Me too.
I don't think people should trust us with musicals.
No.
So
No.
no.
I completely disagree. This is why I'm asking you because I'm like, I want to know.
What I think we should, whatever thing we think would be a bad idea for a musical, maybe that's what we'll do. Yeah. Check in 2 years.
Yeah.
That's about how long TBTAAAM took, and we kept that a secret. So
All right, last question. What does the whole Turnabout musical experience mean to you? You guys talked about how you got into the show, but clearly you liked it enough to hop on a revival production team, but what does it all mean to you?
I think I don't know, something I really appreciate about the show and the community around it is how sort of unironic it is. You're free to, love this kind of silly thing, and find the meaning you find in it. And it does feel very silly, but like, I found the person I want to marry and the people I want at the wedding in this stupid, like this musical about a lawyer video game plus clowns in the latter case. Yeah, I don't know. Really cool people get attracted to it for some reason, and it's just a space where you don't feel I mean, it's very supportive and you don't feel like you're gonna get made fun of for liking things. So that's all neat. It's like a story about love and supporting the people you love, and that's cool. Lizzie, go.
I mean, it's a lot of the same things. I don't know. I really like Ace Attorney. I think it's a good story. I think it's really good. And then it's like I get to be part of this big project that's like a lot of people worked on it and it's so collaborative and it's so open. And people just like nobody knew who I was. I wasn't in the server. I wasn't like a well-known Turnabout Musical fan who like had done things and like was known. I was just like a guy on MuseScore. No one saw my face. This is like one of the first times a lot of people are going to see my face, which is crazy. I don't know. I just got invited onto the project because people were like, "Oh, you're so cool. Like, here's you want to be on a project?" And so I don't know. It's really inclusive. It's really collaborative. You meet a lot of cool people, and like I don't know, our production servers. Like I mentioned this in the TAAAM stuff. Our production servers, both of them are still like really active, which is like I know there's some people who are in there who are like, "Oh, this is my most active server," and it's like TAAAM came out a while
A year and a
ago.
half ago at this point, it
Yeah.
wrapped.
And we still hang out, we still talk, we still do stuff. That's just really cool. Met my partner.
Yeah, thanks. We got there on the list eventually. Kidding.
We're gonna have a clown at our wedding. It's gonna be great.
I will say TAAAM, but also like especially TBTAAAM because it was like just us is maybe like the proudest, like I'm most proud of like that I've ever made, which is kind of crazy because it's not the thing I do primarily as a career. But yeah, the whole process of writing something and creating something and the whole process of putting it together and working all these people together, like it's not a small task. And I was able to make something I'm like really happy with. Like earlier we had the question of like, is there anything you could change? And I was thinking about it, it's like Tibetan is exactly how I want it to be. Like I'm so happy with it. And like I said at the beginning, like it's brought a lot of joy to my life. This is so sappy. We can't keep doing this, Max. Please,
It's
please,
so,
please
I don't
say
know.
but I can't.
It's a lot of work. And so it's like I feel like from the outside, especially with Tivitan, because we dropped the trailer the week before we dropped the show. And so
Yeah.
that really for a lot of people, I think masked kind of the amount of work that went into it. It's really easy to just think that like they just threw this together, they just made this and
Yeah,
it's done.
remember when we thought we were gonna announce it and then debut it on the same
Drop it the
day?
same
Same
day.
day, and we decided we were like we should give people time to like
Like if they want to be at the premiere, plan for
yeah.
it. So yeah.
But it's a lot of work. And I mentioned earlier that like when you're working on something a lot, you bond with people. And it's also like when you put that amount of effort into something, when it's finally done, it's like, I don't know, there's like this sense of satisfaction. It's like I did that and I don't know, I could do it. It's one of those things I think writing a musical, I think a lot of people think they're like, well, I don't have the skill set to do that. I don't know how to do that. I can't write a script. I don't know how. I'm not good at that. I can't write songs. I've never done it before. I don't know how to do that. The original Fight Like a Fae was the first song I ever wrote, but then after that, the second song I ever wrote was Acrobat's Waltz. And it really is just one of those things where you have to like just sit down and write something, anything, anything you want. It can be anything you want. And that's kind of the whole fun of it. But yeah, I think being able to put a lot of effort into something like a musical and being able to like sit back afterwards and be like, I made that. We did that. That's crazy. This is not our job. And so it's like, and so it's like we did this like in our spare time and it was a big thing. And so I think there's a lot of satisfaction that comes from being able to do stuff like that.
Do we have any closing thoughts?
Closing thoughts. Watch Turnabout Big Top. Another Ace
Yes.
Attorney musical.
If you made it
Watch
this
it.
far without actually watching it, you should watch it. It's pretty good,
You
actually.
should go watch the karaoke videos that are really high quality and helpful.
They're so good, Lizzie. People
I'm-
are clamoring for more.
The
Yes.
Acrobats Waltz one is particularly helpful. I know the lyrics
Mhm.
are pretty challenging on that one, so it's nice
Mhm.
to have a reference there to be able to follow along. You should go watch it.
Also, check out the demos. You can see the unfolding
The
of
demos
the
are just
creative
Abby sings the
process.
hits. They just-
You get the entire process of the show coming together.
Mhm.
in
Yeah,
sequence.
so all the timeline I couldn't think of, it's all in there.
I love that stuff.
Join the Apollo Justice server, join the Ghost Trick server, are there any other
Go
things
watch
happening?
Turnabout Musical, the miniseries on
Oh,
Notification Media,
yes.
which you guys actually help with too, right? You've done some additional music arranging for it.
We helped out with some musical stuff
Yeah.
for some of the songs. So
Which is basically just modifying our TAAAM arrangements back to the like Turnabout musical structure.
Hmm.
Talk about cool people. They're all very cool.
yeah.
Yes.
Comment down below all of the cool people we talked about. Just
Yeah,
their
list
names
yeah,
and
just
then
list
and
out
their
names
names.
of
Yeah.
cool people.
All right. Thank you very much, Abby and Lizzie,
Thank
for
you, Matt.
talking about your experience working on TAM and especially on Turnabout Big Top. Other things that you can look at if you're interested in behind the scenes stuff. There's also the writers and video makers commentary stream for TAM if you are interested in that. Turnabout Musical TED Talk. There's like a playlist that I've made that's all the behind the scenes stuff. That's all right here. Also, the rest of the Turnabout Table Talks to see other casting crew people from a bunch of different Turnabout Musical productions, going all the way back to the original, to Turnabout Musical Live, to the Albino Squirrel shows, live at the Phoenix Theater and Turnabout Samurai, Turnabout Musical, the miniseries, and TAM, and many of the cast members that went on to Big Top as well. Yeah.
Watch The Truth Reborn. Not related to Turnabout Musical.
Yes,
Not affiliated.
there are in fact other Ace Attorney related musicals apparently out there.
Support Ace Attorney related musicals
Yeah.
by all creators,
Mhm.
especially us, but all creators.
Support creators in
Support
general.
creators.
If someone makes something, they probably put some effort into it. Just be like, good job.
Watch Random Encounters.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough. That's enough. See you guys. If we can get to 7,000 subscribers, or if we can get Turnabout Big Top to at least 20,000 views, or if we get TAM Act 1 to 200,000 views, the first time any of those things happen, I will stream myself on the TAM YouTube channel watching and reacting to the Random Encounters musical, which I've never
We
seen.
did it.
Yes! You have to make this happen.
This is the call to action.
You have several avenues to success.
Make it happen.
And they all involve watching and sharing our shows. Anyway, thanks guys.
Thanks,
Bye.
Max.
Thank you, Max. I love you.
Love you.